Hakadosh Boker Or Mishna Yomi Masechet Sanhedrin Perek Zayin. This is chapter 7. This is going to be Mishnah Bet and Gimel 2 and 3. Okay, we just brought down in the previous Mishnah about the Rabbi Mito Bedin, and there's going to be a machloket. What exactly is the order of the Rabbi Mito Bedin? And we keep on mentioning that many different times. And now we're going to come and explain the execution process for Serefa. Okay, so Sekila, just like Sekila, we brought down before that people thought that Sekila was actually stoning. It's really being thrown off of the two-story building, is right? Basically, it's going to be the height of two people, right? The height of two people, right? Then he says here, if after the end they still survives, so then they're going to throw one big stone, right, on his heart. And if he still survives after that, then they're going to come and they're going to stone him with all the little stones. Now we're going to go to Serefa. The procedure for Serefa is Ayum Shakin Oto Bezevel Al Kutav. They will come and sink him in manure, right? Mamash Zevel, until his legs, so he can't move his legs. So Mamash, they would sink him in. So therefore, he's like Mamash, like in a whatever. That's what it brings on here. Two differences. Yeah. Okay. So he says over here, right? So to come and he used to put him. Venotrim sudar kashe letoch haraka. So they put a rough scarf inside of a soft scarf. And then they wind the scarves around his neck. Okay, so again, you have rough inside of a soft one. There are two people standing on the sides, and they start pulling. Now, obviously, when they're pulling, right, what happens? He opens up his mouth, right? Or he opens up his mouth. It forces him to open up his mouth. They light the fire, right, under a bar of lead, and once the lead has melted, they pour it into his mouth. And it goes into his innards, and it completely burns his entire inside. Meaning, we thought Serefa is just like an external fire. It's not an external fire. It's mamash, it's an internal fire. It's burning everything on the inside, right, of his body. Rabbi Yehuda comes and he says, Afu met biadam, right? Afu met biadam lo yimekayim bo mitzvah Serefa. If he dies at their hands while they're squeezing the neck, they do not do the mitzvah of burning. So they open up his mouth with the tongs. Tzvat is the tongs. Shelo betovato, right? That's what it says over here again. So he said the force it open. And they still throw it inside. And it still is going to come. Meaning at the end of the day, right? They hold that, it should be like, choked a bit. Because if he starts dying through choking, again, it's going to kill him more quickly. And this way he's going to suffer less pain. Right, because the pain of choking is less than the pain of the burning. Right, that's the Masechet Shlomo. Right, choking. The pain. It says over here that the pain of choking is less than the pain of burning. Right, it's less. Right, but that's what we're saying. Right, if they choke again, even if it is that they did choke him to that, they didn't fulfill the mitzvah, so they have to still do the mitzvah. So they still have to do the mitzvah though, because they still have to burn it. The Serefa. So Amar Rabbi Elazar b'Tzadok, says Rabbi Elazar b'Tzadok, Maaseh bevat Kohen achat shezinta, right? You remember who gets Serefa? Bat Kohen. Maaseh bevat Kohen achat shezinta, v'kifu achavlei zimrot usfro. So they surrounded her with bundles of branches and they burned her, right? So he says, 1 second, what's going on? Amrulo, they said, mipnei shelo haya bedin shel ota sha'a baki, right? That bedin they didn't know. Meaning that's not the proper way of doing Serefa. They basically put wood around her and they burned her to death. That's not a Serefa. That was a betin that they weren't baki. That's why they did. That means don't come and bring a proof from these people. Right? Mishnah Gimel, Mishnah number 3. Mitzvat neragim. Who gets headache? Hayumatizin et rosho b'sayv kederech shemalchut useh. ISIS cut off the head just like the malchut would come and they would do. Rabbi Yehuda says nivulu zeh. So what are you talking about? That's disgraceful. Well, it's just coming a headless body falls to the ground. Ela manichin et rosho la sadan. They would place the face. Right, when he's lying face down, they place his head on a block. They kotzetz bekofitz, and they chop it off with an axe. Meaning, if it's just going to be that he's standing and they come and they do like that, what happens? The head goes rolling I don't know where, and the body just drops. Disgraceful. So what do? He puts his head lying down. They put his head lying down on a brick or on a whatever you want to call it here. The kofitz, he says here, a block. Right, just a big, right? And then what do? Boom! They come and they chop right with an axe. So Abdullah, they said. There's no death more disgraceful than that. That's even more disgraceful. But here he says that the axe breaks the bones of the back of the neck, making it even more repulsive. Right? A sword, it just cuts the front of the neck, killing the person by severing his windpipe and food pipe. Right? So it's not the same thing. So okay, fine. So again, what's better, a sword or an axe? Fine. Mitzvat nechenakin. How do you do the chenek? You mashakin oto bezev the same thing. They would sink him until right his knees, so he cannot move his legs again. Okay, and then it says over here, v'notin sudak kasher toch raka, the same thing. Vekorech al tzavaro, right? V'zeh moshech etzlo, v'zeh moshech etzlo. So here they would do the exact same thing as serefa, but they would actually continue until the guy actually chonkim oto, bemet, until bemet he actually comes and he dies. So that's going to be the difference between the serefa and the chenek.